The skies above the Silver Dragon Sanctuary were torn apart by explosions and desperate clashes. Red and violet flames ripped across the night sky, lighting everything in chaos. Dragon blood stained the earth crimson, severed limbs flew through the air, flesh mangled beyond recognition. Everywhere you looked, there were bodies. This wasn't random. This was a long-planned surprise assault, crashing down on the sacred sanctuary, the place that bound humans and dragons together. Outside the sanctuary, headmaid Anna led the elite maids in a desperate stand. Beside her, Sherry fought with deadly precision. Together, they had already repelled multiple waves from the blazing flame dragon clan. But it wasn't enough. Sherry's brows were tightly furrowed, sweat dripping down her temples. Daggers in hand, she stayed alert in the chaos. Headmaid, hasn't the back mountain encirclement been broken yet? Anna's sharp eyes narrowed. No. They came fully prepared. Even the emergency escape tunnel is gone. We have to stall for time. Sherry's voice tightened. Then, reinforcements? Anna didn't hesitate, but her answer was cold. The nearby dragon tribes fear Constantine. They won't risk helping us. That single sentence froze the battlefield more than the cold wind ever could. Sherry's golden eyes hardened. Anger replaced fear. In the next second, she exploded forward. Blinding speed, flashing steel. Her daggers tore through enemy ranks, sparks flying as magic clashed with metal. In seconds, multiple invaders fell. She scoffed, voice filled with contempt. Idiots! If the Silver Dragon clan falls, do they really think Constantine will spare them? But suddenly, a figure burst through the smoke, stumbling forward. Headmaid! Headmaid! Anna turned and instantly felt it. Something was wrong. The maid's voice trembled with despair. Our reinforcements? They were ambushed. They're completely pinned down. Silence hit like a shockwave. At the soonest, 5 hours before they arrive. Anna's grip tightened until her knuckles cracked. Everything, every strange movement these past months, suddenly made sense. Sherry wiped blood from her lips, voice filled with rage. They were never targeting the wind dragons. This whole time, it was us. Anna's voice dropped, cold and sharp. The Silver Dragon Sanctuary was always the real target. This was a trap, to isolate us completely. Then her eyes swept across everyone. But there's something worse. How did they know today? No one answered. Her Majesty's exact due date. Only a few of us knew. The realization hit like lightning. A traitor. Someone. Inside the Silver Dragon clan, Sherry's voice trembled. You mean, there's a mole among us? No one could deny it, and then the sky itself changed. A crushing pressure descended, heavy, suffocating, unbearable. A massive shadow tore through the clouds, wrapped in burning heat. Its body blocked out the sky. Anna's pupils shrank, cold sweat slid down her face. It's him. A colossal dragon appeared, covered in crimson and dark brown scales. Flame-like patterns pulsed across its body like living fire. Constantine, the blazing flame dragon king, had arrived. His presence alone crushed the battlefield. His wings spread wide, his breath scorching the air. Every dragon felt it, the pressure drilling into their bones, suffocating their very souls. Sherry froze. Her body refused to move. This pressure. I can't breathe. Then, Constantine opened his jaws. A sea of fire exploded forward like a tsunami. The battlefield vanished in flames. Soldiers screamed as they were swallowed whole. Armor melted, flesh turned to ash, and Sherry didn't move. Sherry! Anna lunged forward, shoving her aside at the last second. The flames roared past. Don't freeze up! Sherry hit the ground hard, finally snapping back. Guilt flooded her face. Sorry. But there was no time. Anna turned sharply to the messenger. Go. Report this immediately. Her voice hardened. Constantine has appeared. Do whatever it takes. Break through the back mountain encirclement. Everyone understood. This battle couldn't be won. The gap between a dragon king and them was impossible to overcome. So there was only one goal left, save the queen. Even if the sanctuary falls, she must live. The messenger nodded and vanished into the chaos. Sherry forced herself back to her feet, staring at the battlefield engulfed in fire. Fear still lingered, but her eyes sharpened again. Only one thought remained. Hold the line. Anna stepped forward, gaze locked on the massive dragon in the sky. Until Her Majesty is safe, we do not let him pass. For a brief moment, Her expression softened. She remembered the queen's words, "A dragon's life is far too long. Sometimes brief beauty is enough." Anna exhaled slowly. "You were right, Your Majesty." Then she spread her wings. In a flash of light, she transformed into her dragon form. Even then, she was only a fraction of Constantine's size, like a mantis, standing before a chariot, but she didn't step back, not even once. Kors had sworn an oath to protect Queen Rosewise. Behind her, the silver dragon maids and warriors did not hesitate. One after another, they transformed into their true silver dragon forms. Spreading their wings, they charged in perfect unison after their head maid, rushing toward the enemy ahead. Even though the one before them was the blazing flame dragon king, standing at the pinnacle of dragonkind, they showed not the slightest sign of retreat. They roared together, their voices filled with the resolve to die if necessary, echoing through the night sky, and at this moment, completely different from the battlefield outside, where thunder roared and corpses lay everywhere, was the delivery room deep inside the sanctuary. The heavy stone doors blocked most of the chaos, but they could not block the marrow-piercing dragon pressure, nor the desperate news still arriving. The silver dragon queen, Rosewise, lay half-reclined on the birthing bed. Her silver-white hair was soaked with cold sweat, clinging to her pale cheeks and neck. Wave after wave of labor pain crashed over her like a relentless tide, nearly swallowing her consciousness and pushing her to the brink again and again. "Your Majesty," the messenger maid knelt beside the bed, her voice choked with sobs. "The blazing flame dragon king, Constantine. He has appeared on the battlefield in person." That sentence shattered the last of the maid's composure. The elder maid assisting the birth spread her arms, shielding the two young princesses behind her. Her voice trembled. "There is no one who can kill a dragon king of that level." The two young girls clutched each other tightly. They didn't understand the full meaning, but they felt the suffocating fear in the air. Rosewise listened. She did not collapse. She did not cry. Her lips parted slightly. Through clenched teeth, she forced out her words, hoarse yet filled with unshakable resolve. "Dragon King, kill." Hatred burned deep in her bones, intertwining with the agony of childbirth, tearing at both body and soul. And yet, her mind was clearer than ever. Just then, the stone doors burst open. A maid rushed in, disheveled and panicked. "Your Majesty, the back mountain route has been opened. Please evacuate now. If we wait any longer, it will be too late." She reached out to help her up, but Rosewise gently shook her head. Her voice was soft, but absolute. "No, I am staying. I am giving birth." "But Your Majesty, Constantine is already here. The front line won't hold much longer." The maid's voice broke into tears, but Rosewise interrupted her. She turned her gaze toward the crimson-lit night sky outside the window. The hatred in her eyes faded, replaced by something else. Something warm, something certain. "I believe in him." The room fell silent. Her voice remained calm, steady, unwavering. Killing dragon kings has always been what he does best. Those words became light, piercing through the despair that filled the room. At that same moment, in the chamber next to the delivery room, Leon knelt before a long-sealed wooden chest. He opened it slowly. Inside lay black armor, etched with golden patterns, armor that had followed him through countless life-and-death battles. Every scar on it told a story. Every mark carried his pride as a dragon slayer. He reached out, brushing his fingers over its surface. There was no fear in his eyes, only the quiet warmth of reuniting with an old companion, my old friend. Back on the battlefield, everything had already collapsed into chaos. Constantine's flames surged like an endless tsunami, devouring the Silver Dragon clan's defenses again and again. The Silver Dragon warriors were covered in wounds, their scales shattered, their blood staining the scorched earth. And still, they stood still. They formed a wall. Anna's voice had gone hoarse, yet she roared with everything she had left. "Don't even think about taking another step toward the sanctuary." But before the power of a Dragon King, it was not enough. Through smoke and ash, Constantine looked down at the battlefield with cold contempt. Fools who don't know their place. His crimson eyes shifted to the sanctuary. That was the true target. His tail lashed violently. Flames surged. Charge! At his command, the blazing flame dragon guards surged forward like a tidal wave. Weapons raised, they roared as they rushed the sanctuary gates. Outside those gates, only a handful of maids remained. Exhausted, trembling, barely standing, they looked at the overwhelming enemy, then back at the sealed gates behind them. "Your Majesty, run! Please, run!" Their voices broke, and just as the enemy was about to break through, a bolt of blue lightning split the sky. It struck the front lines instantly. Boom! A deafening explosion. Lightning devoured the battlefield. Flames were torn apart. The charge stopped. Silence followed. "Who is that?" Through the smoke and crackling electricity, a figure stepped forward. Blue lightning coiled around him. His black hair whipped in the storm. His silver armor gleamed beneath the flashes of light. With every step, the ground trembled. The aura he carried rivaled even a dragon king. Constantine narrowed his eyes. This power, could it be? As the smoke cleared, the battlefield saw his face. "Prince, your highness." Recognition spread, fear followed. Constantine understood. This man was the true variable. Rage erupted within him. His tail smashed the ground, turning stone to dust. His roar shook the sky. But Leon did not move, not even an inch. He raised one hand. Lightning gathered in his palm, wild and alive. His gaze lifted, cold, steady, unshaken. Then he spoke. "Your opponent?" He stepped forward. Lightning exploded outward, surging across the battlefield like a tidal wave. "Is me." Above them, thunder and flame collided. Silver and crimson clashed, and in that moment, the battle that would decide the fate of the Silver Dragon clan truly began.